Sawmill's not running today, so there's not going to be any sawing videos, but I do have one here that you might be interested in, so let's watch it together. Welcome back, everybody. The last time I did a video was putting down the vinyl plank floor here in the kitchen, and I've been waiting for you to show back up so that we could get the cabinets installed. I haven't been here, so I had to do it by myself, and you don't get a chance to see it. But what I'm going to be doing now, if everything works well, I'm going to be putting in this countertop, which I've already got started. Again, you weren't here. And we've decided that we're going to try to do an epoxy countertop. And just as an FYI to you, if this thing works out and works out well, you are going to be seeing this video that you're watching right now. And please, at the end, like and subscribe. If, however, it doesn't work out very well, you won't be seeing this video, but please feel free to like and subscribe at the end anyway, whether you've seen the video or not. But at any rate, going forward, I've already installed the kitchen cabinets, and I'm going to show you this really cool little thing that I use, that I found a few years ago, that makes my life a lot easier when putting in base cabinets. But what we've got here is some 3/4 inch plywood for the countertop. And again, I've got it laid out roughly. What I've got to do now is take the corners, which I've got a corner here, an inside corner. There's an inside corner over there. We're going to put a radius on it of about, I'm going to say, inch and a quarter or so. And we'll get that cut. Then we're going to cut this for, make it nice and straight and pretty. Once I'm sure I'm ready to do that, I'm going to get this part attached so that it's all one piece. And once we get that done, we're going to get the thing screwed down so it's permanent, and then get it prepared to do the epoxy. At this point, we haven't selected anything to do with the epoxy as far as colors and so on and so forth. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that. The big boss has decided that the sink we're going to be using is going to be a top mount, not an under mount, which makes my life a lot easier. And so let's continue on with this thing, and here we go. Okay, I told you about the really cool thing that I'd found to help install base cabinets, and that's this leveling foot. I buy them from a company called Rockler, R-O-C-K-L-E-R. I found that they have the lowest price, but the thing I like about these things is you don't have to use shims. If you've ever done cabinets, you know that you put shims in, then you take the cabinet out because you got too much. You put the cabinet in, then you take it out because you have too little, and back and forth, and it's a pain in the behind. But the cool thing about this is you mount it on here. These things are rated at something like 600 pounds per set. And speaking of sets, they come 4 to a set. And one set is about between $25 and $30. And all you need to do is you put them on, you put your Allen wrench right there. Well, we're a little bit loose, so let's tighten this thing up. It's that easy, that simple. And what I do is on the cabinets that have a floor, I just measure out and drill a hole down here. This even comes with a plug to plug the hole. You put your Allen wrench down in there, tighten it up, make sure it's level, and Bob's your uncle. This is the label for the lifting levelers that I use. Again, these are available from rockler.com, and I found that they're about the cheapest location to buy these things, and they really have made my installation life very, very easy. Okay, we're mobile, at least you are. I'm not. I'm currently stationary, but regardless. First thing I did is I took all the doors and drawers out of the cabinets. The sink base up here, I've even taken the front valence panel off the top because I want to make sure that everything is flat, smooth, and easy to access when I go to put up the plastic to protect everything when I do the pour, because the pour is going to have to be done what they call in situ. Unfortunately, we're in Mexico, the village of Mexico, but we're still going to try to do it in situ at the same time. Hopefully it's going to work out, and see what happens here. So the problem I had with doing regular laminate is, first of all, it's very old technology, and I know just about everybody watching this would whine, complain, and make fun of me because it's such old school or whatever, old-fashioned, but I'm old-fashioned. Anyway, this is going to be epoxy pour. The countertop has been cut to fit pretty close. I've got to take care of the corners here and do the edge. What I'm looking for is 1.5 inch overhang from the cabinets, approximately. This line right here is approximately 1.5 inch overhang from the cabinet below. I haven't done this side over here yet because my plan is, in all instances, I'm going to put my radius hole right here, which is basically, I'm just going to use a hole saw. And wherever the hole ends up being, I'm going to use that as my start point for the my straight line. As you probably would guess, if you want to try to make it perfect and your hole is right there, you're good. Everything is fine. But what happens if the hole ends up being inside like that or outside? We want to get a nice smooth transition from straight to curved. So that's why we're going to put in the holes first. Over here for the hole saw, and I hate to, sorry about the going mobile here. The hole saw I have is a 2 1/8 inch, and you're probably wondering why it's 2 1/8 inches. That's because when I reached into the box that has the hole saws, that looked like the right size. So 2 1/8 inch diameter, which is just about 1.16 inches radius. And so we're gonna take you off mobile, put you stationary, and we're gonna get this laid out and get a couple holes cut to start our corners. Okay, we're at the first corner, and again, I've got 1 inch or 2 1/8 inch diameter hole saw, which means I need to come in from each side on the corner here 1 1/16 inches. So we'll get this thing locked in place, and we'll put a little mark at 1 1/16, which is right there, and we'll do the same thing over here. And then we're going to move that out to here, 1 1/16, and one more 1 1/16. Right there. So there's our center mark right there for a 2 1/8 inch diameter hole saw. I'm going to go grab a drill bit. Hold on. When I'm back, what I want to do is I'm going to put a pilot hole in there to help prevent the hole saw from wandering. It's not as old as I am, so it will have a tendency to wander, although so do I. But fortunately, I have some ID that says, if you find me, return me to my address. So let's drill our pilot hole. That was easy. This is boring, isn't it? There we go. And we'll put that right in the pilot hole. There we go. Not bad, but you can see we're off just a touch on there, and that's why we're doing this first instead of last. All right, so let's move on down to the other corner, and we're going to do the same thing. One and 16 right there. All right, so why don't we go mobile for a moment, and I'll show you what's underneath the countertop. So here we go. You are now officially mobile. Took the 3/4 plywood, and I had a whole bunch of 3/4 inch cherry, which I glued to the bottom here. And in the corner here, I just glued a little corner square piece of cherry as a backer. So I ended up with roughly 1.5 inch thick countertop. So that's what we have there. Once I get this thing taken care of, as far as positioning and everything else, I've got a joint here that I cut at a 45, and underneath here you'll be able to see that I've got a piece of plywood that I'm going to use as a stiffener to keep the joint tight. But I wanted to make sure that we had it was very strong, so I cut everything at a 45. We're going to glue everything together using Titebond 3. And then when that's all done and I get it glued and screwed and everything, I've got a little piece of 3/4 inch cherry to go across here to add further stiffening. But I left this open so I could move all the countertop around. So let's get set up to start cutting the... No, I'm not going to cut first. What I'm going to do is finish the splice here and get the countertop screwed in place. And then the last thing we'll do is cut everything out as far as the edges. So let's get started on that. Okay, I'm going to start to get the first cut of the countertop edge set up here. I've got a straight edge I'm going to be using, and my Makita circular saw that I have. The shoe on the bottom is a 5-inch wide shoe, just a touch under 5 inches. And I want the blade to be on this side of the line. So I'm going to subtract about 1/8 of an inch of that. So we're going to, starting at 3-inch mark, just to make a nice smooth place to start. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. And we're going to take away about 1/8. So that's about 4 7/8. We're going to put a mark down here where you can't see. 4 7/8. And we'll get the straight edge put down here. All right, now we'll finish this up with the jigsaw. And I'm going to call it quits for the day. One other thing I want to do is radius the corner here. I don't want to leave a sharp corner because I don't want to get hurt. So I've got my jigsaw set up here, and let's see what we can do about cutting a nice straight edge on here. Before I put this countertop in place permanently, I need to do a round over on this edge here and a slight round over on the bottom. I needed to get that done now because I'm not going to be able to get the router up against the wall. So first thing, I've got my random orbital sander. We're going to just do the bottom a little bit to make it a little bit less sharp. And And the next thing, I'm going to run the belt sander down through here to make these a little bit smoother, but more specifically to round over this edge, because it is kind of rough because of sanding it or cutting it with my jigsaw. So let's get started on that. My only concern is this edge right here. I want to get this done so that this can be put in place because of the wall. So now we're going to get the router set up, and in a moment you're going to see magic happen. Now I'm only going to go, I don't know if you can see the whole thing. You can. I'm going to go from the corner just around this edge here for a little bit, and later on I'll finish everything. Good enough. This will have a little bit of Bondo on there later just to make it smoother, and then we'll get it finished sanded. So we're good here. This can go in, and I can permanently mount this half of the countertop. On this edge here, I'm not going to worry about the belt sander because I'm not going to do anything just yet. When I go to round over this here, I'm just going to do a very, very small radius because we've got a range going up against this, so I don't need this to be as big as the other one. The other corner is just so that people don't bump into it and get hurt. Good enough. Now, are you ready for some excitement? Watch this as this thing goes into place. You're going to tell your grandkids about this. It is so exciting. Watch. Wow, look at that. Not everybody can say that they witnessed that. All right, we're going to get this radius smoothed out. It's a little rough, but I got this Mickey Mouse drill mounted sandpaper, and let's see how that works. Very good. I'm happy with that. Time to go mobile. And we'll do the same thing here. Very good, very good. All right. So now we'll get out the router. This is the Bondo that I used to fill the cracks and crevices on the countertop, which I did yesterday. And now that I'm back here today, I'm going to get my random orbital sander, get everything sanded out so it's nice and smooth and pretty. All right, so now you won't have to listen to me coughing anymore.